Hi, my name is Sarah Norman. I'm a stay-at-home mom in Hudson. I've lived here for about 10 years, and I have 4 children that are in the Hudson City Schools district. I have a 7th grader, a 5th grader, and twins who are in the 4th grade. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about some of the programming changes that Hudson Students First has been looking forward to and hoping that we can get implemented in our district. Part of the assessment we're going to make is first looking at the students we have in our district. Because if you're going to make an honest recommendation for change, you pretty much need to know who you're really serving in the first place. We've looked at some census data and some information from the Summit County Auditor's Office, and we have some general conclusions to offer to you. I'm going to make sure that Jeff and John have a copy of the information on the detailed level for you, but I'm just going to give you some basic conclusions here today. First of all, in case you never noticed, Hudson is a particularly well-educated community. We have almost triple the number of people, percentage-wise, in our country who have a college degree. In our country, roughly 20%, about 24% of the population has a college degree. In Hudson, it is 68%. We also have a 98% rate of people having a high school diploma, which is about 14 percentage points above the national average. We're a particularly, comparatively speaking, affluent community. Our family income and our home values are about double what the national average is. We have, however, fallen on some hard economic times in Hudson. In the last 10 years, the poverty level has actually doubled. Now, it's not an astronomical rate at 3.5%, but the fact that it has doubled is an indication to us that there have been some negative changes in the economy and that Hudson is feeling those effects. There have been a lot of homes foreclosed upon in Hudson as well. In about 2005, we were averaging about 30 to 35 houses per quarter being foreclosed upon. That number is closer to 77. That's in the last quarter of 2010. So it's hard for us maybe to know whether or not our employment rates are comparable to other places. Hudson has a lot of stay-at-home moms. We have a hard way of knowing whether or not those moms are staying home by choice or by fact of being laid off or fired. But we can say that there have been negative economic influences because of some of the other statistics that are available. Finally, our school system is suffering from a declining enrollment. Census data indicates that the percentage of children in the school age range between roughly ages 5 and 18 has actually decreased by about 2 percentage points. It's now about 24% of the population. Only about 40% of the households in Hudson have children using the school district. Part of the reason the demographic number has shrunk, the demographic number of children in our school-aged area, is partly because of children growing up and moving out. We have a lot of empty nesters in Hudson. But part of the reason that number has declined is because of the number of children who have gone off to private school. We have fewer children in public school right now than we did 10 years ago. And even though some of them have gone away and grown up and moved away, some of the reason that number has gone down is because they are going to other schooling options instead. And here's what we know about the students who are coming into Hudson. Again, it's important for us to know who we're really trying to serve if we're going to make a viable claim for changes to the programming we offer to our students. About 35% of the students coming into the Hudson School District end up being identified as being gifted or talented in at least one academic subject area. Most are identified as gifted in 2. Now, you'd expect that from a community that is particularly highly educated like Hudson is. We're delivering an above-average raw material to Hudson for the teachers to work with. 96% of the high school graduates in Hudson go on to a 4-year college. Just to tell you sort of where they're going in at, 388 students took at least one advanced placement course in the last school year. Most of them were taking 2, and 86% of them, a vast majority of them, were scoring 3 and above to earn free college credit by taking classes at public school. This is not required by our school district, but it is a fabulous service we offer to our students. We're giving them free college credits from the programs that we offer through our public schools. There are other things to tell you about the students in Hudson. We have a 300-member marching band that we have had for close to 10 years. It's been a long time that we've had such a strong music program in the Hudson school system. Half of the 5th graders participate in elementary instrumental music through the band, and half of the 4th graders participate in orchestra. Some of those orchestra students choose to move over to the band by the time they get to 5th grade. But the point is we have a huge amount of support for instrumental music in our district. 16% of the students have special needs in Hudson. Now, this is below the state average of about 17%, but it is a significantly higher percentage than some of the comparable districts that Hudson district administrators like to compare themselves to. We do a much better job of serving those students because we actually exceed the state minimums of service to special needs students, whether it's in cognitive, physical, emotional, or behavioral areas of need. So in that way, it's really an area where we truly serve the students far and above what we're required to do. And it's a place where we probably do put the students first. Well, let's take a look at what we offer to the students who come into the Hudson district. Some of these topics are the hot topics that are facing the district that came about because of the lovely discussions in 2010 and the imposition of cuts, the threat of cuts that would be made. And some of these topics have been around for quite a few years. Let's talk first about gifted and talented services. Gifted and talented services are administered in a very arbitrary way with a great lack of consistency in the Hudson district. Not the kind of thing you would expect when more than a third of your students are gifted. Nonetheless, Ohio requires screening of all students to determine whether or not they are gifted in a particular subject area. It can be one of the 4 main ones: math, language arts, science, and social studies. Now, in grades kindergarten through 2nd grade, the teacher is the one who determines if a student is gifted or not, and the teacher is the one who determines whether or not there will be any enrichment going on of that student's academic experience. That is left completely up to the teacher. There's no consistency from classroom to classroom, from building to building. For grades 3 through 8, the eligibility for gifted and talented services is determined by a cognitive skills index score. That score needs to be 130, and the way we find what that score is by giving a standardized test. We find out if the child is gifted in that area, we find out if they have the right cognitive skills index score, and then, and only then, we will offer them services for gifted and talented learning. This number, the score that I referred to, has been increased over the last several years from 125 to 130. Now, it's not just because the kids are getting smarter that we've had to raise the score. Part of the reason we raised the score is because the Hudson administration has determined that we are not going to serve more than 15% of the students through our gifted and talented services. When we have too many children qualifying, we have to raise the score in order to eliminate some of them from being served. What happens to the other 15 to 20% of the children who are identified as being gifted but don't qualify for special services? Well, they are supposed to be given differentiated assignments. The teacher that has them in class is supposed to say, oh, here's a gifted child. I will give him a little bit of an extra challenge on this project that I'm otherwise assigning to the rest of the students. Sometimes this is just extra homework. Sometimes it's actually the same project but with a little more elevated expectation for what the end product will be. As I said, it's very arbitrary and it's not particularly consistent from classroom to classroom. Now, in middle school, gifted and talented services have been available only in language arts and only in 7th and 8th grade. These are about to be completely cut. The threat of cuts that was made by the superintendent last fall was that there would be no more gifted talented services in middle school, and those are effectively eliminated for all 3 years now, the 3 middle years of a student's academic career. In high school, the expectation is that the advanced placement classes will serve the needs of gifted and talented students, and by and large, this has been an acceptable program to adopt because we have so many children who are interested in it and we're able to offer so many classes to them. I should say that there's no process for determining whether or not we have students who are gifted or talented in the visual or performing arts. Even though the state statute contemplates that we will do so, we haven't been taking care of our students who have those kinds of gifts. Here's the takeaway point on gifted and talented. Our district survey indicated back in 2009 that 55.9% of the parents would like to have more gifted and talented programs. It was, quote, important to them. Cutting them from the middle school is not serving the interests of the parents who responded on that district survey, and it's not serving the needs of our students. All right, here's another hot topic for you: math curriculum. In 2007, the district surveyed the community, and less than half of the respondents indicated that they were satisfied with the math curriculum. In a 2009 survey, the district asked what part of the academic programming could be improved, and the number one answer was math, with a response of 39.4%. Now, math education is in an integrated curriculum between the grades of kindergarten and 8th. We adopted this in 1996. The district considered changing the high school math curriculum to this kind of integrated model. An integrated model studies a little of this topic and a little of that topic, and it circles around through several topics, eventually coming back to the first one and building upon what you learned at the first level of it. It does not take one topic of mathematics to the level of mastery and then move on in a linear fashion to the next topic. A traditional curriculum does use that sort of linear curriculum where you start with perhaps addition, and then when you've mastered it, you move to subtraction, as an example. All right, so if we had a bunch of parents who were interested back in 2006 and 2007 in changing the K through 8 curriculum, who got up, stood up, advocated, and were able to completely block a change of the high school textbooks to the integrated model, why haven't we seen a change in the K through 8 curriculum in the last 5 years? Well, here's why. One of the reasons is because of the results on our standardized tests. It makes it look like there's no problem at all because our kids get fabulous math scores. What we really have to assess is how are we achieving those scores. The district survey in 2007 indicated that 33% of our students receive tutoring. And what's the number one subject that they get tutored in? Well, math, you guessed. Why are they getting tutored in math? The primary reason given by the teachers or the parents who were responding was that the math program was insufficient and was not delivering math skills at an acceptable level. That was an answer given 53% of the time. In the 2009 survey, when they were asked what needed to be improved most about math, it was the curriculum. So why do we care if the K math curriculum is changed? I mean, how does it relate to quality education? Well, it brings up the next hot topic, which is a standards-based education. Currently, we have state standards mandated by Ohio. These standards are intended to reflect the very base minimum amount of education that any student in Ohio, in any circumstance, with any district that has any level of resources is going to be receiving. Our students in grades K through 5 get report cards that assess whether or not they meet those standards in any or all of their disciplines. For grades 3 through 12, they're given the standardized tests, and we blow those out of the water. So here's what we have to ask ourselves. Is it enough in Hudson for us to teach to the state standard? Is this an accomplishment, having blown these tests out of the water, that we need to be satisfied with and we can sit back and relax with? Hudson Students First does not think this is the level we need to be teaching at. We can expect to teach to a higher level, and we should be expecting it. So that's why we care about what the math curriculum is, and that's why we care about instrumental music and foreign languages and those kinds of things. These are two of the other hot topics. Instrumental music I already talked to you a little bit about because we've had such a rich tradition of it in Hudson. When you have half of a 4th grade class participating in instrumental music, the average person looking in might say, so what? It's popular, big deal. Well, here's what really matters about it, and here's why all of us should care about retaining instrumental music, especially orchestra, at Eastwood School. There are a number of scientific studies that have indicated there is a significant physiological change in brain function when children have been taught string instruments before the age of 12. That physiological change does not occur after age 12. You can still learn how to play a violin, but your body is not going to receive the same benefits, academically speaking, as if you start before the age of 12. Now, if half of our 4th graders are participating in this class, and we eliminate it and don't begin instrumental music at any level on any instrument until after the age of 12, What have we just done to the students that we are serving? And what have we done to the results, the academic results that our district has been producing? This isn't about a nickel-dime job, saving or eliminating one job at the middle school. It's about the overall performance of our student population. And the same thing goes for foreign languages. Now, we've had a few changes in foreign language at the middle school. A couple of survey courses have been eliminated, but the overall full-year course in foreign language has been retained for 8th grade. These are positive changes, bottom line, a good result. And this is the kind of stuff that sets us apart from other districts that are comparables that the district likes to compare itself to. These were all cuts or threatened cuts that came up during the course of the discussion of the levy in 2010. And what are these cuts being made for? What we've been told is that levies are necessary so we can have higher salaries to attract high-quality teachers in our district. Notice there's no discussion about the programming that we're offering to the students. It's about how we're compensating the people who are in charge of them. Did you ever stop to think about who's getting those high salaries? It's not the new teachers who are at the bottom of the employment rung, of the ladder there. It's the people who have already been in the district for a significant period of time. This is the point at which Hudson Students First says, we have some major structural changes that we need to make to our system so Hudson can continue to deliver a superior, not just a statistically adequate educational product. We really do want to pay an attractive salary to real quality teachers who are producing quality results. Having the good fortune of being hired in a particular year should not guarantee a teacher a job for life. And some of the changes that we need to look at do occur at the state level. This is part of what Senate Bill 5 has been all about. Our district cried for a grassroots movement to help make these changes happen, and they've been inordinately quiet about the changes that are staring us in the face. We really need to be prepared to work with these changes because it is for the benefit of all of our students. I hope you enjoy the presentations by Jeff and John, and I hope that if you have any questions, you can email them to me. Thank you.